All right. So in the last class, I think we have started bash scripting. We have started bash scripting or shell scripting. Okay. Today, let us continue the journey of shell scripting by variables and user input. So this is what we'll be discussing in today's class. Right. Okay. So let us try to understand the following stuffs. Right. So how do I basically define a variable, right? So what is a variable? I think we have discussed about that in the Python class, but let me try to reiterate what is a variable again, right? So how do you deal with naming variables in shell scripting? Okay, so how can I dynamically give the user input, and we will be trying to define a term called as interactive or interactive and non-interactive scripting. Interactive and non-interactive scripting. So this is what we would be trying to do in today's class. So first, let me get started with the important question, right? So what is a variable? Okay. So what is this whole variable stuff about, right? Okay. So many times, right, you might come across this term or me speaking saying that okay, we'll be using variables, right? But what is this whole variable stuff about? Let me give you a very simple example. Now you have written a shell script, okay, which basically tries to tell hello, and then here it has to display username. Okay, so if I have logged in as a user, if I am logged in as a user who is basically, okay, let us assume that if my username is Khaja, so it should be displaying something like, right? If Ramna logs in, it should display a message saying that hello Ramna. So something like that, right? You can take any names for that matter. So how can I build this kind of a behavior? I can build this kind of a behavior when I directly don't type the message, right? But here I put a placeholder. Here I'll put a placeholder which will store some value. And whenever you're running the script, whatever value is available in that placeholder, it will try to print that value. As simple as that. Okay. And now, if you go a little bit deeper into this, these are the values which are stored in basically RAM, right? So there also can be called as key value pairs and all of that stuff, right? So variable is a standard building block. Okay. Oh man. Okay. In almost all, but right, in scripting languages, right? So they allow you to store information. They allow you to store information. Okay. So that we can retrieve, okay, or change multiple times during the execution of the script. That's it. This is basically what a variable is. This is basically what a variable is, right? And basically, creating the variable is very simple when it comes to shell scripting. Okay. So when it comes to shell scripting, okay, variable underscore name equals to variable underscore value. Okay. So let me call it as, okay, assigning the value to a variable. Okay, is very simple. Right. Now, over here, I am creating a variable which is basically called as name. Okay. And in this name variable, I can pass any value. I can pass literally any value. Okay. So I'll be passing the value name is learning thoughts. Okay. So I have assigned the value. I have assigned the value to a variable called as name. And now after assigning the variable, it doesn't make sense until unless you use it. So referencing a variable. Okay. So for that, the syntax is dollar variable underscore name. Okay. Or you can directly refer them by using just dollar variable underscore name. There is nothing wrong with any syntax. These are the two different ways of basically doing it. Okay. So now to print this value, I can basically say echo dollar name. So echo statement will print the value, and over here I'm trying to tell dollar. Dollar means get me the value of a variable called as name. Am I clear on this, sir? Right? Or you can do echo dollar name, right? Or you can write something like echo name equals to dollar name. Okay. So to experiment all of this, let me quickly create one machine in our AWS console. So it doesn't matter for whatever we are doing, which version of or which distribution of Linux which you use, right? I'll be using Ubuntu. You can try the same thing on CentOS or Red Hat. It works everywhere because we are trying to use a very basic functionality today. So I'll go into EC2 instances. Okay. And let me try to create an instance. Okay. I'm selecting Ubuntu 18. Okay. I'm trying to select the free tier eligible machine. That is more than enough for me at this moment. Okay. So let me call this machine with a tag Ubuntu. Okay. Let me try to open a security group where everything is open. Launch, and I'll be using a key value pair called as Terraform. Okay. So for the people who don't know how to create virtual machines, I'm quite sure that you have a link to the Learning Thoughts YouTube channel where there is a video about how to create a virtual machine in EC2 or how to create a EC2 virtual machine in AWS instances. Right. So the machine is ready. Now I'm opening Git Bash. I have the PEM file. Okay. Let me go to downloads folder. So I have the key in downloads. So ssh-i terraform.pem, and the username is ubuntu @ public IP address of this machine. Right. So I'm basically writing name equals to learning thoughts. Okay. Now I'll type echo name. Then it will directly print name because it doesn't know that this is declaring a variable. Okay. But to use a variable, you have to tell into the Linux using this dollar syntax, dollar name. Now you will get learning thoughts. Okay. So whether you use dollar with this, it is the same thing. Okay. So you can write echo name equals to dollar name. Then this is called as you are trying to bring your dynamic content into some static content. This is called as interpolation. So are you saying it is printing name equal to learning thoughts? Simple, right? Right. So right. So preview dot slash images slash sh6 dot png. Right. Good. Okay. Now let's try to create a simple shell script. Okay. And to edit that shell script, I can use a VI editor. Okay. But I'll be writing that in Visual Studio Code for convenience. That's it. Okay. And then I'll try to copy paste that stuff. Right. So let me get into Linux. August 20. Right. And let me try to create a file over here. And generally shell files will share with .sh extension, right? So I'm creating a new file, which I'll be trying to call as, right, variable demo.sh. So the first statement of a shell script should be bin/bash. So this is called as shebang. Okay. And later on we have discussed that we will be writing, okay, header always. Why? Because it always makes sense for you to write a header. So what is today's date? Today's 25, right? Description, this is a shell script. This is shell script demonstrating variables, right? And here variable demo.sh. Yeah. So we have agreed upon saying in the last class saying that this is looking more professional. Okay. Now here in the script, I'll be writing, okay, name equals to right, and then I'll be writing something like arg underscore name equals to learning thoughts. Now I will try to print echo, okay, this is dollar name from dollar arg underscore name. Is this a very difficult shell script? Is this a very difficult shell script, sir? I am taking two variables and then I am trying to do this. Okay. So this is something. Okay. Here we are interpolating. Okay. The variables. Okay. Into a interpolating variable. That is enough. There is no need for you to write more than that. Okay. Right. So now let me try to write one more stuff. Okay. All the variables are treated as text by Linux until and unless you are explicit. Okay. So let me try to create, okay, a variable which is called as number, and in the number let me assign the value number equals to, okay, right. So generally whenever you're writing a shell script, okay, so it is not a good idea, right, it is a good idea to follow certain stuffs, and generally this spacing is not required. Okay. So you will not see a lot of people doing that. Okay. I'll be trying to write number equals to 5. And if I try to write echo dollar number, okay, plus 1. Let us see what happens. So ideally we'll expect that it should print 6. Okay, right. Let me take this as a demo and then try to write this stuff over here. Okay, and over here, man, I'm not sure why my, right. All right. Fine. Right. So let me create a folder called as scripts, and inside that scripts, I'm creating a file which is basically called as variable demo.sh. Okay. So, and in this, I'm basically passing whatever stuff which I have written over here. Okay, not this. My bad. This stuff. Right. Okay. Now, generally, whenever we execute the script needs an execute permissions. Yes or no? If you try to execute ls-l, now does your script has execute permissions now? So are you seeing X there? No, right? So we need to add the execute permissions. So I'll be trying to tell chmod plus X variable demo.sh. Now let me execute this. So are you seeing now I have given execute permissions to all? If you want to give execute permissions only to the owner, you can give u plus X, right? So group G plus X, others O plus X. That is your choice, but I have given it to all. It's okay. We have not written a very wonderful shell script so that we stop permissions, right? Now let me execute my shell script. Okay. So in my current directory, I have a file which is called as variable demo.sh. So the first thing what it is trying to tell is the command is not found in line number 11. Okay. What is this line number 11? Okay. Sorry, saying this one. The space is the issue. Okay. Let me try to correct that. Right, you're not supposed to give spaces after equals to, right? Okay, now let me try to run this. Sorry, saying you are getting a message saying that this is Khaja Ibrahim from Learning Thoughts, and expression is given as 5 plus 1. Expression is given as 5 plus 1. Okay, but the whole idea is we wanted 6, right? The whole idea is we wanted 6 over here. Okay, but by default shell treats everything as text. By default shell treats everything as text. Am I clear on this, sir? Okay. Now, how to tell shell script? Okay. Right. Let me try to print this output. All right. Now, execute the script. So, when you execute the script, you'll be seeing something like this, right? Now, shell script is treating numbers as text. Okay. If we want shell script to consider, okay, number as integer, okay, consider variable number as integer, we need to use an expression, right? So that expression is, okay, let me write it over here. Dollar double parentheses, and inside that double parentheses, okay, you try to tell dollar number plus 1. Okay. Now let me try to implement this. Let me try to implement this. Here, if you want, you can give spacing also. Right. Now I'll go into my shell script. Okay. And then I'll be writing, okay, echo, right? Let's use arithmetic expression, right? And over here, I am trying to write echo of this. Let us see what happens now. Okay. Let me add this to variable demo. I'm going to the last line, and then I'm inserting these two statements. Okay. And then let me execute this. So are you getting 6 this time? Yes, sir. So for you, if you are doing it as arithmetic, right? If you want a shell to treat something as numbers, you have to be explicit about it. Otherwise, it will treat everything as text, right? So right now, considering the script to be yes, and when I execute it, I get the following result. Right. Fine. Right, sir. Okay. So how to give multi-line comments in the shell script? Sir, is this not a multi-line comment? Start every line with a hash. For now, don't think anything beyond that. So if you see my lines from 3 to 9, is it not a multi-line? Yeah. Right, sir. Okay. Good. Now, whenever we come across a word called as variable, then we also will come across a variable term called as constant, right? Right. A constant is a variable value which will never change, right? So in shell scripting, okay, we don't have anything called as a constant, right? So it is dependent. It gives you a variable. Now you decide whether you want to change the value of the variable over the script or not, right? So by default, okay, we don't have anything like const like what C has and all of that stuff, right? But for our understanding, right, in shell scripting, let me go over here. In shell scripting, we follow naming conventions. We follow naming conventions, right? So let us try to see what a naming conventions are. Okay. For variables, okay, we use lowercase with underscores. So for example, if I want to define a variable, which is called as my number. So I'll be writing it as my underscore number equals to 6. Okay. Am I clear on this? If you want to just declare a number called as message, so message equals to how are you? Am I clear on this? So a lower case letter, or if it has a multiple words, you can use lower case underscore with letters. Am I clear on this? Okay, right. So if you want to consider anything as a constant, right? So generally for the constants, what are constants? Constants are the variable values which do not change or which should not change, right? For constants, what we would try to use is, we would try to use uppercase letters. For constants, generally we will try to use uppercase letters, right? Okay, uppercase. So for example, okay, value of, okay, okay, let me not use that. Let me try to use something called as location. Okay, location equals to slash home, something like this, something like this. Okay, right. Am I clear on this, sir? Okay, whenever you are trying to use, okay, something which is constant, try to use uppercase letters. Whenever you are trying to use, okay, the variables, try to use smaller case letters, right? And there is one more thing which you need to worry about, because there are some variables which already have some mean, some what you call, some importance, right? So do not create, okay, variable names, variables with names which already have some meaning in shell world, right? So for example, we have variables like path, right? We have variables like user, we have variables like lang, we have variables like shell, we have variables like home, and there is a whole lot of stuff. Okay, so if you remember, right, long ago we have discussed something like, man, why is this uh, right, sorry for this, uh, but I somehow should get it fixed, right? Okay, so long ago whenever we had discussed the shell scripting, we said that there is something called as set. In set you would be seeing a lot of predefined okay, values. So let me use set, sorry, see, so don't try to use a variable names which already have some meaning. So in your shell script, don't try to create something called as home. Okay, right? So basically the whole idea is right, never ever create a variables which already have some predefined meanings. Am I clear on that? Okay, yes sir, let it be any variable. Don't try to create variables which already have some meaning. Okay, so rather, okay, if the purpose is similar, okay, try to prefix script underscore to the variable. So for example, okay, in your shell script, if you want to use a word variable called as path, don't try to use a variable called as path. Use script underscore path over path variable, over path variable. Am I clear on this? Right? So use script underscore user over user variable if you want to define something like this. Right? This is what I'm trying to basically speak about. Okay? Right. Let it. Okay. So for example, define as shown below. Am I clear on this? Right. So some of you have asked me what is happening, why is the stuff getting disrupted. The shell is basically logging out, okay, and the session is getting logged, okay, right. If you basically get it logged, one way of not getting that happen is you execute something due to inactivity, your uh, terminal is getting blocked, okay, right. That's the basic idea. So you can restart the new session, or because you had a lot of time of inactivity. That's basically what it is, right, sir. So these are the variables. These are the variables which is doing good, okay. But okay, generally when we write scripts, okay, right. I don't want to unset timeout, Ramkrishna. So I want people to face this issue, right? So that when we basically speak about resolution, then I think we'll basically get out of it, right? Thanks for suggesting that, right? So the whole idea is whenever we are dealing with shell scripts, we would expect some amount of user inputs, right? So user will try to give certain kinds of inputs. Yes or no? Do you agree with me on that? Yes or no, sir? Do we expect our scripts to basically take inputs from users who are executing them? So for example, right, you type ping, which is a command, and for this you are passing an input which is called as google.com. Yes. So does your script also require user inputs? Sir, am I audible? Because I'm not getting any response. Yeah, okay. Okay. So please acknowledge. See, if you don't acknowledge, I will treat that there is some network failure. Right. Okay. Right. So if you look at this stuff, okay, so far we have been dealing with static scripts, right? The scripts are static because they don't take any inputs. Okay, right. So let's introduce, okay, the concept of user inputs in shell scripting. So let me speak about basic inputs. Right. Let me speak about basic inputs. Okay. So what is this? What are these basic inputs, and how do you deal with them? How do you deal with them? Let us try to look into that. Okay. So basically, if you want to look into what is an input in the terminal, whatever you type is an input, right? Okay. In the terminal, whatever you type is basically an input. Okay. So now what we would try to do is, okay, we will try to basically write a script, okay, and then let us try to pass some parameters into it. Okay. So At a very basic level, everything you type or enter on the command line after the script, okay, can be used as input. So for example, for executing the scripts, what is that we are trying to use? Dot slash some script dot sh, and over after that I can pass anything. I can pass anything. So I can pass hello. Okay. So where hello becomes a user input. Where hello becomes a user input. Right? So let's create a script. Let's create a script called as, okay, print name dot sh. What is it? Print name dot sh. So let me go over here and then let me try to create something called as print name dot sh. Okay. So always have a habit of having this header, script header and shebang, which is always a good sign. Right. So today is 25th August, right? So this is print name dot sh, and here pass name. Okay. So this script demonstrates user inputs, okay, or basic user inputs. Right. So now what is it I want to print? I want to print hello and then the name of the user and then the name of the user. But I don't have a variable. I don't have a variable. So let me try to see what happens. Okay. I'll just try to put a very simple thing over here. I'm creating a variable called as name. And in that variable, I'll try to use $1. And then let me try to put dollar. So what is this $1? Okay. So to make that understandable, let us try to put, okay, echo 0 is, okay, 0 equals to $0. Okay. And let me write 1 equals to $1. Is that simple? Okay. Is there any difficulty in the script? I'm basically taking $1. Okay. Right. What is this? We'll come back to it. Technically, what are they called as? We'll come back to this. So let me try to take this script, log in into this machine, get into the scripts folder. Okay. Vi print name dot sh, and let me insert all of this. And after that, I have to give chmod plus x, give execute permissions, and then let me execute print name. Okay. So dot slash print name dot sh, and then let me try to pass. Okay. So what is happening? Whatever I have passed after, okay, my variable after my script, okay, has become $1. And what is $0? $0 is nothing but, okay, your script path. This is $0 and this is $1. Am I clear on this? right? Okay, right. Let me try to take the screenshot of this. Okay, so this is $0 and $1. That is what. All right, with the following script. All right. Now execute the script. So whenever you execute the script, okay, basically we got our results. So here, okay, $1 stands for the first positional argument. So what does $1 mean? First positional argument. Okay. So generally, if you look out for any command line on the planet, you take any stuff, right? So how we will be passing inputs? We'll be passing inputs like ping google.com. Am I clear on this? In this, the program is google.com. Do you agree with me on this? Ping is executable, and to the executable, as the first argument, you are passing google.com. Yes, you write the commands like, okay, copy 1.txt to 2.txt. So here copy is executable, 1.txt is the first argument, and 2.txt is the second argument. Do you agree with me on this? Yes or no, sir? Okay. So the arguments which are passed, okay, the arguments which are passed, okay, like these are called as positional arguments. Okay. So I think we have discussed this in our classes before. Any command line will have two kinds of arguments, right? Let me, where is this? Right. Okay. So generally we will have two kinds of arguments. Okay. We have already discussed about it. One is called as positional arguments. I'm quite sure you have understood what a positional argument is, right? So in positional arguments, cp1.txt to 2.txt. Okay. So 1.txt is the first argument and 2.txt is the second argument. 1.txt and 2.txt are two positional arguments. All right. Fine. And then we will have something called as named arguments. Okay. Named arguments. So if I use this expression ping-c4 google.com, okay, so here google.com, does it have any name? Is a positional argument, okay, whereas the value 4, right, has something called as c. So hyphen c, or let me write it as hyphen count, whereas 4 is a named argument as it is value for a name called as c count. Am I clear on this? Do we understand named arguments and positional arguments now? Yes or no, sir? Okay, right. Great. So I'll stop it at that, and then we'll continue with this discussion on named arguments, right? And positional parameters, right? And we will try to develop some scripts around that, Okay, right. Fine, sir. See, in this, right, we are using a named argument, but right now, whatever I have used this script is using only positional arguments, right? So because it has used $0 and $1 itself. Yeah, my shell script is still using only positional. It doesn't know what a named argument is yet. Okay, right. Fine. So let me write it down. So the script used or shown above, okay, is depending on positional argument. Some of the people call it as parameters also, right? Positional argument. Okay. So to be very specific, it is relying on one positional argument, right?
Thanks for watching. For more videos, subscribe our channel and click on bell icon.